1 o'clock, and I will open the regular meeting of the Beavercreek Township Trustees of August 15th. And we will start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have before us a draft agenda. Do I have any additions, deletions?
I'd like to add another section to the executive session under 121.22 G1. We already have G1 to consider the employment and compensation.
Right.
I'd like to add discipline.
Anything?
Of a public
Well, we just
employer
have
or
to say
official.
employment, compensation, and discipline of a public employee.
Or official.
Or official.
Or official, okay. Okay. Any other
Make-
changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Second.
You can call.
You want me to call the roll?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right, I'll do it.
Mr. Kratz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Graff.
Yes. Okay,
Make a motion to approve the August 17th, 2016 payroll in the amount of $277,819.84.
Second.
Mr. Kratz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Graff.
yes.
Make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $160,868.50.
Second.
Mr. Kratz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Graff.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held May 23rd, 2016.
Second.
The only comment I'd like to make is I'm pleased to see that we are starting to approve minutes from past meetings, since we haven't done that in a very long time.
Mr. Kratz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Graff.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes held June 6th, 2016.
Second.
Mr. Kratz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Graff.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting held June 13th, 2016.
Second.
Mr. Kratz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Graff.
Yes. This time we open the meeting to citizens who would like to speak. I don't see any in the audience, so we'll go on to old business, which none listed, no new business. And our acting township administrator, Chief Landenboss, up to you.
Thank you, Board. The first thing we have for you today is the City Township Joint Meeting Agenda. You should find it on page 3 of your packet. Just a reminder, that'll be in 2 weeks following our regular meeting. I believe it's at 5 p.m.
Are there any additions to that? What kind of presentation were you going to add, Chief?
It'll probably be an extrapolation of what we've been doing with our biweekly reports and just kind of summarize our activity in the city, the services that are provided, and how it balances between the city and the township. Unless the board has something particular you'd like.
I sort of suggested to the administrator that we have this new gadget, the compression
Oh, yeah,
CPR gadget, that I thought it would be an interesting demonstration
we could
to
certainly
have
do that.
available.
Yeah.
With a mannequin or a live demonstration?
We can have a live one on.
If you come up with the person, I will provide a live demonstration.
Okay.
It'll work either way.
I'd like to be an observer. Would you like to be a participant?
No.
Okay, so there are no additions, so it looks like it can stand. The agenda stands as presented.
Thank you.
And
And then the next item we have is the Greene County Sheriff's biweekly and monthly reports, and you'll find those on pages 4 through 23 in the packet. Now, if you have any questions that you'd like me to take back.
The only thing jumped out at me is we had a shot fired call on August 6th.
Okay, I'm not sure about that. Would you like me to get some more information for you?
Mm-hmm.
It could be people who are doing rifle practices, people that just, we've had that
Target practice,
a number
right.
of times. It's,
Right.
I'll get some additional information for you.
okay.
Send along, if you can, our appreciation for the reports and the work they do.
Yes, sir.
Please do.
It does give us a complete idea of what kind of services are provided. Human resources? I guess you don't, you know,
There's no report this week for the human resources, unless the board has any questions for her.
The migration to the new insurance is complete, and everything seems to be. There were no surprises as far as anything that we from the provider, from the insurance. Okay.
Some little bumps with getting coverage for a couple of people, but we worked that out. Just
Okay.
through the form fire that people completed at this first.
I think we need to have, so we get a complete report of what has gone on.
Yep, everything transitioned really well with the insurance. There were a few bumps with getting people transitioned from Form Fire into the MMO system. There were a couple people that missed completing the Form Fire, but we were able to get them put in, and there hasn't been an issue, no loss of coverage. Bills, as far as I know, the bills are coming fine. Jan has been able to streamline that process very efficiently. Online payment now. So
Good.
it'll happen already. So yeah,
Wonderful.
it's set up and we're good to go. The next phase will be the wellness program, and I'm scheduling meetings to kick that off in October.
Great.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Next item for the board is zonings, and they have a request to schedule a special trustee meeting.
Did you finish,
I did not. Or yeah, I did.
Thank you, Board. This will serve as formal notification that the zoning commission at their last meeting recommended approval of the rezoning of property at 443 South Fairfield Road in the township, and that under ORC we must now schedule a trustees meeting to hear that case. Sometime within the next 20 days or so would be a good time to do it. If you want to, I need at least 10 days to put notice in the paper from
This
in advance of the meeting.
Okay.
So
Can we do it the same day as our next scheduled
So if-
meeting?
That's the
Can we-
joint
No,
meeting.
that's it. We
Right,
had
we have
then
the
have a
joint
big
meeting.
5 o'clock meeting with the council. We could come back here, but that's a very long day.
well, if it's not a conflict, your next regularly scheduled meeting would give me plenty of time to place the public notices and
Well, that's the
send them.
29th. But the 29th, we
We have
have
the
our
city
regular
meeting.
meeting. Then we have a meeting with city council at 5 o'clock.
Oh, is
So
that
it's
on the
like
29th?
5 to 6, and that's over at
Okay.
council chambers,
Mhm.
I believe.
Okay.
Right.
I guess what I
So
was
if we
looking
set
at-
it here at
yeah.
7:30, we could do it, but it's
I'm
gonna be.
unavailable
Okay.
after the city meeting. That's
Okay.
that's Carroll versus Beavercreek. That's a big game.
I thought it was a
Is
Thursday
it,
night.
do you
Girls
anticipate
soccer.
it being,
girls
is
soccer.
it one that we could potentially do before our regular meeting?
We always do it in the evening,
Or
the
you need to
zoning
do it in the
meeting.
evening?
Yeah.
Your practice has been to do it when more of the public can attend, and
Okay.
I am aware that there's opposition to this rezoning in this case, so I
Okay.
think it best that we allow for that.
Do we have another evening that, other than Monday, that either of you can,
I can do Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm gone Thursday, Friday.
Tuesday, like the 25th?
The
That's
the
20.
30th.
30th. I'm
Tuesday the
good.
30th, okay, that's good with me.
I'm good Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday the
Wednesday.
30th?
Tuesday the 30th at
Which time do you
7,
do it, 7:30?
your choice.
When do you usually have your meeting?
7,
Okay. So we'll do it Tuesday,
Tuesday the
August.
30th at 7. It
7:30?
is.
7
Thank you.
PM and here.
Here, right.
7:30.
Okay.
7.
7.
Thank you. I'll get those notices out.
Seven.
You take care of that.
Hmm?
You'll take care of the notices.
Yes, I'll do the notices.
It's, your
And
report
if there are any
shows a
questions
great deal of
concerning
activity here.
the bi-weekly report, I'll be happy to answer them while I'm up here.
The number of permits has actually increased. You said you had some busy times, although you've been busy, you think
Yes,
there's
we have-
increased business coming up.
We have 2 more rezoning requests before us. One is a fairly straightforward family wanting to split the 19 acres so the kids can build a house on the property, and that's down in Narrows Trace. The other is potentially more complicated. I've received an application from Kilcare Speedway to rezone that portion of the property that is within Beavercreek Township on the north side of Dayton Xenia Road, between Dayton Xenia Road and the bike path, from agriculture to light industrial for purposes of establishing a commercial use thereupon.
Why industrial?
Because the purpose that they intend is the construction of self-storage facility, and it is the light industrial district that allows that as a permitted use. Also, the parcel also includes about 3 acres on the south side of Dayton Xenia Road as part of the same parcel, and that small portion of the property is already zoned light industrial. It was zoned such as part of the zoning process for American Aggregates, Martin Marietta. It lies in that area. So a piece of this parcel is already zoned light industrial. They want to zone the rest of the property on the north side of Dayton Xenia Road to light industrial.
What else could go in there that we might not?
Well, that
Enjoy.
will be introduced to the zoning commission on September 1st. I suspect they're not going to be taking quick action on it, but once they do make a recommendation, I'll be bringing it to the board for another zoning meeting here.
Guess we have to pull out our zoning codes and look at what we have under I-1. Assuming we have up-to-date.
Well, of note in this case is that the proposed use is a permitted use within the I-1 district.
Right.
There would be no conditional use hearing needed to establish that use within the I-1 district.
I guess my concern is not that that is a permitted use, but what are the other permitted uses in that
Exactly,
I-1 that may not be compatible
right.
with, well, there's a substation there, and that's
Right,
not a
and-
big deal,
and
but
there are
there,
statements
across the
within-
river,
There are statements within their application that address that issue, but
Okay.
I think those are best left to
Right.
introduce to the zoning commission first and then to the board when appropriate. But they're aware that kind of concern is what doomed a similar application to the Xenia Township board when they went before that board for a rezoning to the adjacent property that's in Xenia Township. In that case, though, the district they were going for was a B2 district, which allowed a lot of other uses that the township didn't want and which the applicants did not address in their application. So presumably they've learned something.
If I remember too, from a regional planning meeting, there's some concern of what utilities may or may not be there, and
Right.
that section is like a bridge in order to connect a bunch. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
A bridge?
Or they need to get it through there or to there, or
No.
there's nothing there?
It's an open
Contiguous,
field. There's nothing, including, there's no water, there's no sewer. I mean,
Right,
there's nothing
yes.
there, so, yeah.
Okay.
So.
And comes all the way up to the park there, that little park, that road that goes into the,
The parcel in question extends from the DP&L substation to the
Okay.
township, east
Yeah.
to the township line. And it's approximately, what did I say, 11 acres or so, something like that?
it will be interesting to follow that case then.
Yes.
Any other questions on the biweekly report?
On River Reserve, do you anticipate getting roads down before November or not? I saw they broke ground. I was just curious.
River Reserve?
Yeah.
That is intended to be undertaken before winter.
It is. I was curious.
Mhm. And you'll note on the biweekly report that a couple of subdivision recordations that are either in progress and approved or pending have added about 75 parcels to the number of shovel-ready sites now available in the township. So we were whittling away at that number for most of this year, and now it's jumped back up over 300 shovel-ready home sites in the township again. So we seem to hover between 250 and 300 shovel-ready sites in the township pretty consistently since I've been here.
And Nathaniel's Grove, that north area, I thought they were gonna be starting.
I was under the impression that they were waiting for the county to let a contract for the installation of the water line from Fairgrounds Road or thereabouts to the north to serve that. But last week, equipment was mobilized and they've begun construction on the roadway. I guess my sense is that sewer line first or storms first. I don't know which.
And there'll be sewer line first, which is on the property.
Right.
Yeah.
We're hoping by then to have the water,
Brought up,
the second phase, and then do storm after that.
Right.
okay.
Any update on Bexley?
No.
The
We'll be reconvening those conversations shortly because everyone's back from vacation.
Okay.
the 5 acres on Beaver Valley that adjoins Siebenthaler. What's the status on that?
When the
Did the family completely walk away that was looking at doing the?
right when the BZA denied the variance that would have allowed the property split, it rendered moot the conditional use application. The same potential buyers have renegotiated the sales contract with the seller to include the entire parcel, so now their conditional use application can move forward in a slightly revised form to allow for the inclusion of the entire parcel. No property split involved anymore. So that will be before the zoning commission also on September 1st.
Good. So they're back essentially.
Right.
Good for them.
It's back with essentially the same application.
Good for them.
And they have the tower.
Apparently they've worked out some sort of process by which the current owner can keep the income to the tower and they can be indemnified and not have to
Pretty
insure
simple.
it.
Very good.
Safe routes to schools. We made progress? Is
Yes. There's recent significant progress in the creation of a matrix that includes all the schools with a wish list of all the challenges and proposed modifications, solutions that might be part of an overall school travel plan. We're getting close to a public unveiling of a draft proposal. In the meantime, we'll be meeting with other officials that haven't been an ongoing part of the planning process, such as the new school superintendent, who does have some experience with safe routes to schools, but also the Greene County engineer and his staff, because clearly some of the rights of way involved in the planning are county rights of way. They're not all township or city rights of way. So, frankly, the bulk of what's being proposed affects schools within the city rather than than ours, but there are some suggestions that are being floated that would have an impact on Coy and Treybine, no doubt. So, yes, we're chugging ahead with it.
Good.
We have a target date to submit the finished plan by March. And then that, once the plan is approved by the administrators at ODOT, then we will qualify to submit an application for funding. And that'll require bringing discussions back to the board, because funding is 100% coverage but by reimbursement. So both the township and the city or other authorities, the school board, will have to front some money to get improvements finished, get some of the engineering done, and then be reimbursed by the state.
But we have to wait till it's approved for the
Mhm.
funding prior to doing anything.
Right,
Okay.
and we can't apply for any funding until the plan is approved, and once the plan's approved, we cannot apply for funding for anything that's not in it. Fairly standard practice in the state.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is IT and a purchase request for the Barracuda Energizer.
Afternoon, Board.
Any questions?
No?
Seems pretty simple.
All right, you had all your information in the packet, so all the justification is
easy,
there.
yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions I can answer on the biweekly?
I had none.
Then let's get the motion done first.
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase request 07789 to MNJ Technologies for Barracuda Energizer updates in the amount of $2,783.85, and authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Prince?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes. Okay. Any questions on the bi-weekly report?
Got ahead of myself there.
I had nothing else.
The voicemail's being started this week, essentially.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're doing some equipment checks on the hardware before they bring it out. But I believe later this afternoon or tomorrow they'll be out to start pulling the data off the old voicemail to move over to the new system.
Okay. I had no other questions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bert.
you.
Next item for the board is the road department and an ODOT purchasing resolution.
This is a joint purchasing with ODOT to permit you to be, Beavercreek Township to be part of the
The ODOT
process.
contracts,
Right.
which is separate from what we always participate in is the
state. Whatever the other
Department
state.
of Administrative Services cooperative contracts.
I'll make a motion to approve the following resolution, whereas the Board of Trustees of Beavercreek Township, Greene County, State of Ohio, move for approval of the following, whereas Section 5513.01B provides the opportunity for counties, townships, municipal corporations, conservancy districts, township park districts created under Chapter 1545 of the Revised Code, port authorities, regional transit authorities, regional airport authorities, regional water and sewer districts, county transit boards, state universities or colleges, to participate in contracts of the Ohio Department of Transportation for the purchase of machinery, materials, supplies, and other articles. Whereas the Township Administrator hereby requests authority in the name of Beavercreek Township to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation's contract for the purchase of machinery, materials, supplies, or other articles which the Department has entered into pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5513.01. Whereas the Township Administrator is hereby authorized to agree in the name of Beavercreek Township, to be bound by all Ohio Department of Transportation contract terms and conditions, and to assume all responsibility for placing orders and vendor payments. Whereas the Township Administrator is hereby authorized to agree in the name of Beavercreek Township to directly pay vendors under each contract of the Ohio Department of Transportation in which Beavercreek Township participates for items it received pursuant to the contract. And whereas Beavercreek Township agrees to be responsible for resolving all claims or disputes arising out of its participation in cooperative purchasing program under section 5513.01B of the Ohio Revised Code, Beavercreek Township releases and forever discharges the Director of Transportation and the Ohio Department of Transportation from all such claims or actions arising out of its participation in cooperative purchasing program which Beavercreek Township may have or claim to have against ODOT or its employees, unless such liability is the result of negligence on part of ODOT or its employees. This agreement does not obligate either Beavercreek Township or the state to indemnify or hold the other harmless with respect to any claim or demand asserted by a third party against Beavercreek Township or the state, or provide or pay for any legal representation, attorney fees, or other litigation costs incurred by that party in defending against any such claim or demand.
Second.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Beavercreek Township, Greene County, Ohio, favorably pass the above resolution.
I do have a question on it. In your documentation, you said participate in it, whatever the single and tandem axle cab chassis,
Right.
which was approved August 11th, 2016.
It just became approved. This project was one we were shooting for first quarter because of the library roof project and the LED project got pushed off. So the bid for last year ran out in April, so we didn't make that cutoff. So the new one just came out August 1st and is approved. So basically from here, once they accept this, we'll send them a letter that we'd like to participate in.
Okay, so
bids
it's
or-
their, whatever it is that was approved August 11th, not
Correct.
ours, okay.
Not ours.
Okay.
That was their, and we want to participate in its bid.
Okay, in that bid list, that
023-16.
they approved August 11th.
Yep.
Okay, I'm with you. I just wasn't sure
Yes.
which it came from, okay? Any other comments or questions?
No.
Mr. Parks?
My first name's spelled wrong on this. It's a big deal.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you put it somewhere so we... Oh, it's upside down, okay.
I'll let everybody know.
Mr. Robertson name has to be, the spelling needs to be checked on the
First name.
future.
Yes. No,
It's R-E-Y.
okay.
The first time it's been wrong.
Any questions on the biweekly?
No?
No.
That's
I will, since this came out as an update, as of this morning, we have half the materials delivered on the library roof.
okay.
Right now, we're just waiting on the weather to cooperate.
Right.
The crew that's,
Next week.
Next week. Yeah.
it was pouring when we were putting materials up there this morning,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I think
It's
it
gonna
might-
rain all week, I think.
Well, now that, as I
And-
mentioned to the chief, I measured 3 inches over the weekend at my house, and we didn't hear anything about Factory Road, but
Oh, I had
Yes,
that right.
I apologize. I had a mobile email issue, so the email did not actually get out, but we did have it closed for about 4 hours yesterday.
4 hours yesterday afternoon. It was back open by 7:30 last night.
I was watching it come down and watching my gauge go up, and I was like, I haven't heard yet.
We've had a lot of rain in the last few days.
Yes,
Yes, we have.
much needed. We might be back on track almost for the amount of rain for the
Sure. And
season.
is this related to the rain or is this condensation?
I think this could be related to a rain because as I'm thinking through SharePoint requests this morning up in the day room, there was 2 places water was getting in along a vent shaft.
Hmm.
So I think it might be migrating
All
down.
the way across. It's all the way across.
Yeah, I would say it's coming into and then getting past the down because there's vent shafts in here, and now it's Do what it is.
Spread that.
Coming
Right
across.
now,
It's following
duck,
the duck work.
following a duck.
It's boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Okay.
We might need a new roof rather than new carpet. New ceiling.
One roof this year's enough.
This is just ceiling, not a roof.
Ceilings are new.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Okay, fire report.
Good afternoon, Board. Thank you for your time today. We have the biweekly report. A couple things I wanted to point out. The first of which is in 2 weeks, the same day as the special joint meeting with the city, is the third annual Battle of the Badges. So if you do have time, you could come out and donate or support everybody. We'd appreciate it. Please vote FIRE. That'll make our third year clean sweep if we can get that.
Is
So-
that a Peace Lutheran?
Yes, ma'am.
Which means if we get through our meeting by 4, Mr.
it's
Roberts
gonna
can
be-
get over to Peace Lutheran, give blood, and be at the meeting, other meeting at 5.
And that's exactly what I
think-
plan to
Plan.
do. So I can give anybody
think
who needs
that's
a
what-
ride a ride.
That's my plan.
So I
Were
appreciate
you
that.
gonna be, but he mentioned that he was gonna be giving, so.
I plan to. I don't know if I can outgive them, but yes.
Hey,
I'm
we'll
gonna
take 2 points if
observe.
you got them.
A couple of times I wanted to give, they said that I needed more than they did, so they wouldn't take anything.
The other item on the biweekly report I want to point out is our YouthWorks employees. Unfortunately, we had one of our employees who had signed up and started with us, then failed to actually show up for work, so he has been terminated. Our remaining employees are doing a great job, just as they did prior. We had another one go back to school starting this week, so we're down to a skeleton crew. But they are still continuing on the jobs that they were doing for us, and we'll continue to use them until they're all back to school.
Okay, we plan to follow and see what the modifications of that program are, to see if we can take advantage of it in
Absolutely.
the future.
Absolutely. And most of these kids have been great, and we'd like to get most of them back if at all possible. So, and we've expressed that to them individually as well.
One thing to add.
Okay.
There is the possibility of getting someone for the school year. They have a year-round program that I've looked into, and because of our office hours, we couldn't have someone that attends school unless it's college. So they're looking for somebody who graduated in the spring who might be interested in spending some time here, and it's between October and May. So I don't have any names at this point. Clara Harris, who is our contact through the program, is still researching. But if we find someone, then we'll bring them to the board and ask for approval for that.
Good.
Great,
Thank you.
Good. Chief, kudos on the CPR stuff at the schools, and I like seeing that stuff at the station. Do you guys advertise when you do the CPR?
Yes, sir. We have a regular class that is advertised on the website that fills up on a regular basis, as well as the classes that we get by request by doctors' offices, local governments, and other agencies. So we have kind of a regular customer set, and then we also open it up to general members of the community as they're interested and the classes are available.
Good stuff. I like you see you going to the schools with it too. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you go to each of the schools, or is this just one?
I think they do it in groups. I don't believe we go to each school individually. And I'm not the right person to ask, unfortunately. I don't know the details of how they schedule it out, but I can find out for you. One thing that did not come in time to be included in the agenda, but I wanted to make note of, and that is we had an overpayment that was brought to us by one of our employees. I'll have a full write-up for the board. I can either include it in next time's bi-weekly, or I can send it separately at your preference. But generally speaking, one of our employees had requested a modification of direct deposits. Excuse me. Of direct deposits for her regular paycheck back in June. The changes were made, but not only were the changes implemented, but the old direct deposit was not stopped. And so she ended up receiving an additional $850 per pay for 4 pays. She discovered it in balancing her accounts. She let us know. She's ready to make a reimbursement to us. Chief Merckx is working with the new assistant to the fiscal officer to get the details squared away, and it will be resolved by the next meeting, or at least we anticipate it will. We'll keep you up to date on that, but that did occur.
Okay, great. Let's just make sure if she does, kudos to her for coming up with it. let's make sure we don't turn around and automatically deduct her if she gives us a check though too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that is all I had for the board, unless you had any further
No.
questions on our biweekly
No.
report.
I love your little
I love your chart.
diagrams, and I understand the city council appreciates them too.
Thank you, and we will continue to provide that information, and we're working on updating some of them through the standards to cover process. So we should be including some additional information and being able to give you a little better picture of what we're doing as that moves forward.
And while we're on the subject, standards of coverage, you're still shooting for middle of next month.
It'll be the last meeting in September is what I have scheduled.
Okay.
If you can just ask or relay to Alex and Chief Merckx as well. So from a fire perspective, for that same period that there was the overpayment issue, if they can just do a quick check to see if there was any other instances of similar circumstances.
Yes, sir.
And then from Alex's perspective, outside of fire, just to make sure if there were any changes kind of post from May 10th through that period where we had some stabilization there.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Just so if there's another instance, we catch it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Legal advisor.
Nothing at this time.
Trustees,
I had nothing.
Neither did I.
I just have one request of the administrator when he gets back. It's not a big deal right now. We've approved 3 sets of minutes today. I would like a list of the meetings for which we have unapproved, or no approved minutes. Maybe that's a better way to say it. And I believe that we'd start somewhere in March to go over and see what we have not approved and what is still necessary for us to
Yes, ma'am.
get to, particularly pursuant to our new policy that we passed last week, because we do want to have the board review and have some approval of what's being considered our permanent records, conveying what the township
Mm-hmm.
what has transpired at township meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a fair statement?
I'll pass that on.
Okay.
We had a request from Ms. Aarons regarding an extension or modification of Kitty Crockett's agreement. I'm reading through her email just to make sure I understand what she was asking for, but essentially she's asking for 40 hours of on-call as needed in an amount not to exceed $880. And I guess my take on that is I guess I would want Alex's input on this before I voted on. I'm not saying that I'm against or opposed to it or for it. I'm just saying I would like to have Alex's input on it before, and I know he's out of town. So if we can maybe put this on the agenda for the next meeting
Yes,
to
sir.
discuss
Yeah.
it.
I had a question of her accounting of what's taking place and how much is allotted and how much isn't allotted, because essentially the allotment started with when people were hired to do the positions. And they were interim, and any of the interim people, I don't know how the accounting kept going, because as it's going now, I don't see what the people are being paid here. It kept adding up, and I know we have 2 full-time people that are not on the list here. So I have a question on the accounting. The other question I would have is I understand that the assistant fiscal officer would like to be able to go to formal UAN training provided by the state auditor's office. And I think that would be an excellent kind of activity to take place, because the questions could be asked to the people at that time, and an overall of what the process and who the contact should be in the future. So I think that would be a better use if we're going to expend any money from the township, to have an overall training rather than wait to say, I don't know how to do this, and then call it. It just seems to me we should be proactive, but that's my personal opinion. But if you want to put it on the next,
I'm just, my point of the matter, I wanted to address the request because she did make the request, and the
Right.
second was to explain that I'm not saying that I'm opposed or for it, it's just I need a little bit more information. Part of what I would have asked Alex to do is a little more thorough accounting of it, because we initially approved a contract for Miss Kitty Crockett to train our fiscal officer and our assistants and our payroll or AP/payroll person. So those three individuals were to be trained on UAN. And I know we had a temp for a number of weeks, and then we replaced that temp. So we paid money to train the temp that we did not hire. And I understand that's fine. And now we had a new person start, and then we had Ms. Schultz start as well. So I've heard the same things Ms. Graff has heard as far as interest in additional training. I've also heard that training is available free, and I've also heard that there is tech support available for free. So I don't know what, sometimes obviously tech support is just an 800 number you can call or a pay per minute number you can call, and it seems like we'd be doing that twice if we had a consultant and what the state provided. So I just need a little clarity before I can say yes or no. So, if that makes sense.
yes, the other thing is
And I'll reply at least back to Ms. Aarons with that same thought process, that it's not a matter of no, it's just a matter of a little bit better accounting.
I think there are better ways to get the answers that's being requested. The training, as I remember correctly, when Ms. Crockett was here in the early years, 2006, 7, 8, whenever that was, there were issues that came up with UN that she had no idea, because she comes from a very small township. She does an excellent job for what she does and what she can do all the time. But the complexities that are being suggested here in the email, I don't believe Spring Valley Township has that kind of complexity that we have, and therefore I'm not sure that that's the proper place to go to request assistance, which is why I think the
Right.
other avenue is probably a much better avenue.
Yeah, I believe their budget's under 2 million and ours is 25, so I don't know. But,
Yep.
that's all I had on that.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Roberts, do you have any?
It would be nice if Miss Aarons was here. I think some of this could get worked through. I want to make sure that, Jan and Tina are getting the support they need. I mean, but I agree that I don't think we have enough information to pull the trigger today.
Okay. No. It can go on the next agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G1, to consider the employment, compensation, or discipline of a public employee or official. Under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G3, conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject of or imminent court action. And under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G8, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance.
Second.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes. Okay, may I have a motion to come out of executive session at 3:28?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes. Do I have any motions to come out of executive session? Or
Yes.
following executive
Following.
session?
Yeah, following. And this has been something that has been discussed previously. And actually, we asked the township administrator to develop a new policy for potential reemployment after retirement of staff. So I'll make a motion to present, or a motion to approve the reemployment after retirement policy as presented. And Ms. Frick, should I read this in?
think
think
it's
so. It's just,
necessary. I mean, you
it's
can read
part
the-
of the policy manual. So the purpose
Yeah.
was to provide an opportunity to retain the skills, knowledge, and expertise of the township's department heads through a reemployment program following retirement. The application, this policy contains specific guidelines applicable to all Beavercreek Township employees. The details of procedures for members of labor groups listed below may be contained in their respective contracts or agreements. The references used in this policy are the Beavercreek Township Policy Manual, the IAFF Local 2857 Collective Bargaining Agreement, and the Beavercreek Township Road Department Agreement. And so therefore, I'll make a motion to approve this reemployment and after retirement policy as presented.
And I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Kretz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft.
Yes.
And at 3:30 p.m., I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Kretz,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Kraft.
Yes.